to the Revealing Center in your Revealing Experience. I keep saying that. The Revealing Experience here at Seaside. Yes. So right in your programs you have these lyrics to We Welcome You. You can sing them to each other as we welcome those who are still coming in. Come on in, we welcome you. Come on in, we welcome you. Let go, be free. Come on in and take a seat. We're glad you're here. We're spreading love, joy, and cheer. So come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Let go, be free. Come on in and take a seat. We're glad you're here. We're spreading love, joy, and cheer. So come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Let go, be free. Yeah, come on. Come on in and take a seat. We're glad you're here. We're spreading love, joy, and cheer. So come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We welcome you. Come on in. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Awesome. So how are we feeling this evening? Awesome? You look so beautiful. So happy to be here. I'm Sunny Daye. I always forget to share my name. And we're going to sing the next song from this already opened, loving space in our hearts, Reveal. It's a beautiful song. The first time I heard this song sang, it was by my 7-year-old niece. I was in tears. Reveal, reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. Every time I open up, love is what I see. Reveal the love in me. Reveal the joy. Reveal the peace inside of me. Reveal the peace that I was meant to be. Every time I open up, peace is what I see. Reveal the peace in me. Now we can reveal some joy. Reveal, reveal the joy inside of me. Reveal the joy I was meant to be. Every time I open up, joy is what I see. Yeah. Reveal the in me. Reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. Every time I open up, love's what I see. Reveal the love in me. The peace. Reveal the peace inside of me. Reveal the peace that I was meant to be. Every time I open up, peace is what I see. Reveal the peace in me. The joy, yes. Reveal inside of me. Reveal the joy I was meant to be. Every time I open joy is what I see. Oh, yes. Reveal the joy in me.
Feeling that joy, that love, that peace, which is God, which is omnipresent, always here, always there, always everywhere. It is the truth of all. That joy, that peace, that love that is within each and every one of us. And I know that this evening is one in which that joy, that love, that peace is revealed yet more radiantly, more expansively, and each one of us connects with the truth of our being, which is that we are God expressing, we are love expressing, we are peace and joy. And breathing in that awareness, it feels so good, so rich, so safe and so comfortable and expansive. For it truly is an experience of the one. And so it is. Thank you, Art and Sunny, for the beautiful music, for the opening that opens our hearts so profoundly. My name is Candace Youngsholt, and I'm one of over 40 practitioners here at Seaside. I'm a master practitioner, which means, as we each are, we're dedicated to supporting this congregation and every member in it in prayer, in love. If you have a concern this evening or a joy that you want to celebrate, there will be practitioners in the prayer chapel off the lobby. Please come and see us. Don't leave with a heavy heart. Please. It is our joy to pray with you. Reverend Sunshine's talk tonight title is There's Only One. And my reading is from Practicing the Presence by Joel Goldsmith, the book we're working with this month. And it is from the chapter on spiritual consciousness. Spiritual consciousness is attained through the activity of truth in consciousness. Dwelling on spiritual quotations or statements of truth helps to spiritualize thought. The more truth that we read and hear, the more active is truth in our consciousness. Thus we learn to abide in the Word. This is the first step on the way. The second and more important step is to be able to receive truth from within. and to be receptive and responsive to the truth that wells up within us. Then we do not think, read, or hear truth with the mind. We are becoming aware of the impartation of the Word of God from within, because the inner ear and the inner eye have been developed through our knowing the letter of truth and dwelling on it. The letter of truth is made up of statements, quotations, and words, none of which alone is power. The only power is God itself. It is very much as if the shades on the windows were drawn and we sat all afternoon talking about sunlight, what it is, what it will do, and how to avail ourselves of it. Then after several hours, someone very skeptically remarked, "But it's still dark here. After all this talking about light, it's still dark." Yes, it is still dark, and dark it will remain until we roll up the shades. So it is that we can talk about truth, we can read truth, we can study truth, we can hear about truth and never once feel the light, never once feel the presence and power of God, unless and until we take the final step of opening consciousness to the very presence of God. When truth comes to our conscious awareness from within our own being, we have gone from the letter to the spirit. That is the most important phase of the activity of truth and consciousness. The second step, which leads to a state of consciousness where we are receptive and responsive to the still small voice, cannot be taken, however, unless the first step has been mastered. That is, knowing the letter of truth. All the years that a person has spent in reading truth, hearing truth, thinking truth, attending church services, lectures, or classes are fruitful in leading him to that point where inspiration flows from within his own being. This inspiration, however, usually comes only after thorough grounding in the letter of truth. Jesus tells us to let my words abide in you. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. To live in that truth, to abide in that word, is to bear fruit richly. That is, to live harmonious spiritual lives. But if we forget to live in the word, to abide in it and let it abide in us, we can become as branches that are cut off and wither. How can we abide in this word if we do not know it? We must know the truth. It is possible to know all the truth found in the letter of truth and still be a branch that withereth, until we so abide in the word, and let this word abide in us, that the very Spirit of God dwells in us. There is a spirit in man. There actually is a spirit, the Spirit of God in man. No man is devoid of it, but most of us are unaware of it as we are of the blood coursing through our bodies. God is with us. God's presence fills all space. The Spirit of God dwells in us. And so it is. And now, let's hear from Reverend Sunshine.
Thank you, beloved. Hello, everybody. Hello. Thank you, Candace, for that remarkable reading. I've been with that book, Practicing the Presence, as I hope many of you have been. I know that the bookstore said that many of you have been in there to purchase the book and have begun reading it as we go from week to week. So let me just pause right here and take this all in. Simply opening up my heart right now to speak this word with you tonight. The talk title is There's Only One. And it may seem a little redundant, because for some of us who have been around spiritual community, especially this spiritual community, we already know there is only one. Yet do we? And I think that what's been coming up for me is that because we read the word, because we study, because we're meditating and we're taking the words that we read, not only in our Science of Mind book, but in Practicing the Presence and some of the other great books that we've read and that we've been with, that because we take these words in, it's kind of like, oh yeah, we almost can recite from the book. We could almost quote the books, quote scriptures. We can, quote poets. And it's wonderful to be able to do that. Yet, I think what's coming up for me is are they just quotes? Are they simply words in the wind? Or is this really something that we embody and embrace and really believe? And if it is indeed what we really believe, then it must demonstrate in the outer world. If I truly believe and know for myself that there is only one, then the outpicturing of my life proves that. The words that I speak prove that. The way that I walk proves that. The way that I engage with others proves it. Now, I know that as we begin to learn and we begin to study, that sometimes the talk and the walk don't match. And that's just part of our learning and understanding and coming into fruition and maturing in spiritual truth and enlarging our consciousness and our awareness. That sometimes we have to speak it and speak it and speak it, almost like convincing ourselves of it. You know, when we speak it out loud, it's not only other people that are hearing it, but we're hearing it too. So it comes into our consciousness and it gets into our minds, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm supposed to believe that. I'm supposed to get up and pull the shade up and let the light in because I say that's what I believe. I talk about this light, but if I'm just going to sit still in it, if I don't know about it, then it's just talk. And so is it indeed just talk when we say there's only one? Or does our life demonstrate that we actually believe it, that we live it? So when we talk about evil, all this evil in the world, all this bad in the world, or when we turn on the news and we hear about these weapons of mass destruction, or we hear about all the evil and all the bad that's happening in the world, is it something that we're buying into? Or is it something that we recognize and go, there's one power, one presence, one life. That life is God. I live in a friendly universe, and what I am being told about this universe is not the truth. Or do I believe in good and evil? Because to believe in good and in evil is to say that there's two powers. So is there only one? Or is that something that I'm just saying while I am believing and operating from a place that I need protection, or that there's evil in the world and I have to protect myself or protect others? Or do I simply know that right where I am, God is? And I have to tell you and share with you that, you know, from infancy, we're taught that there's one power or one God, but yet we're taught that there's bad and good. So what do we really believe? Where is it that we're putting our focus? It is done unto us as we believe. And I'm so grateful for the practitioners and the ministers here at Seaside, because they help us. They're here to help us understand and recognize and know the truth. They're here to help us kind of dig out and uncover these hidden beliefs, these things within us that act as a law in our life. There are these hidden beliefs within us that act as a law in our life, meaning that these deep beliefs that we have actually dictate how we operate in the world. Actually are mandates, if you will, self-inflicted mandates as to how we operate and how we show up in the world. And if you're anything like me, I'm always looking at ways that my walk could match my talk just a little bit more. Looking for ways that I could really understand and get to that place in my own consciousness, and get to that place in consciousness where I am living from that place of knowing beyond the shadow of a doubt that there is only one, that there's not this otherness. You know, all of the great spiritual teachers in our lifetime have always taught us that there's one power, one presence, one life, and that life is God. All of the great avatars, all of our great teachers and ministers have taught us that some of the qualities that we can expect or that we know God to be is love, joy, peace, abundance, wellness, wholeness, perfection. And yet we entertain this idea of evil or some otherness. And I want to really say is that when we look at God and the allness that God is, we have our living and being in God. There's only the one. And for us, really, when we believe in evil, when we believe in lack or limitation or living in doubt and in fear, what we're really saying is in that wholeness, there's something missing. And to the degree in which we know this truth for ourselves, we get to really live in our fullness. We get to really live in our abundance. We get to really live in our joy. We get to really live in our peace. For there's only peace. There's only love. But to the degree in which we can accept all of it in its fullness, to that degree is where we experience it for ourselves. But when we don't, what we're really seeing is a part of the allness. And we might label that evil. And so we think that there is this otherness when there isn't. It's just that in our consciousness and in our awareness at this time, we cannot perceive the allness that God is. And because we cannot perceive the allness that God is, we cannot even perceive that our life is that life that God is, so that which is true about God is true about me. We cannot see that there is this place within us that says, I am sufficient. And really relate that back to our own experience. Thus, it is important for us to really dwell, like the reading that Candace read for us today, to really dwell in the Word and to really begin to recognize and know God for ourselves. To really practice, to really be in that space of knowing this truth. This week, Joel Goldsmith said that 5 minutes in the morning and maybe 5 minutes at night is not enough. And I said, I can't tell them that. Some folks are at a minute in the morning and maybe 30 seconds at night and are working their way up to 5 minutes. I can't possibly say that. I guess I just did, huh? What he's really leaning toward is this idea that you get out of it what you put into it. And when we say that something is important, such as my spiritual health and wellness, my consciousness, I want to live a better life, I want to experience life to the fullest, is that just talk? Or am I really dedicating the time to my practice, to my knowing that my life is the life of God in this form right here, that God is expressing beautifully and magnificently right here, Right there in your seats, God is expressing as each and every one of us. So is it worth the time to invest a little more and a little more? And you know, the way to get to the top of the ladder is one rung at a time. And if it's 1 minute right now or 5 minutes in the morning or whatever it is right now, so be it. It is a beginning. It is a start. But it is not where we want to hang out unless we're happy with what we're getting. Because if you keep doing what you're doing, you keep getting what you're getting. And if you like what you're getting, then keep doing what you're doing. And if you're not, if you want more, if you want to experience a little more fullness, a little more wholeness, a little more joy, a little more abundance, more peace, then dwelling in communion with Spirit, getting to know your life as the life that God is where we get to spend some time. And I'm going to tell you, you really don't need to change a whole lot about what you're doing. Except that maybe you might want to invite this presence into your consciousness and awareness while you're doing certain things. I know that while I'm looking in the mirror brushing my teeth, I'm dwelling in Spirit. It's kind of like there's one power, one presence. There's a lot of teeth in here. Oh, the abundance. Look at all this foam in my mouth. Oh, it's abundant. I begin to use ordinary things, ordinary practices that I'm so used to already, and begin to, if you will, spiritualize them, or to use them as opportunities to recognize and commune with Spirit, commune in Spirit at that moment. So it could be when you're taking a bath, or a shower, or shaving. I know that when I get in my car, I take a few minutes and just pause and recognize this power that is animating me, that is me, that is not separate from me. See, that 5 minutes in the morning or that 1 minute in the morning just turned into 10, 15, almost 20 minutes in pieces, but it happens throughout the day. I know some of you work at offices where sometimes the computer is not the best. Sometimes it freezes on you. I remember working at this one place, and every time we used to have this joke. Every time the computer freezes, it means you get up and go to the water cooler and get a drink of water. It's time to hydrate. Great idea. Great idea, because you got to reboot it. It's got to start up all over again. So time to rehydrate. Well, what if you use that time to recognize your oneness? What if you use that time of walking the dog or waiting in line at the supermarket? Instead of complaining about, oh my gosh, this line is so long, how come they don't have cashiers? You know, I thought three's a crowd kind of thing here. You know, where's the cashiers? What are they doing? Instead of being in that, wow. What if that were just an opportunity for us to really pause? Wow, things are not working out my way right now. What if this is just an opportunity for me to pause and know that everything is coming together, not only for my highest good, but for the good of everyone around me? That even though in the world of appearances it may look like there's something wrong, it is actually right, because there's only one life. That life is God. There's only one power and one presence. That is God. And everything is in divine order. Everything is already out picturing in divine order. And so this, what I call snag or delay, or this thing that just doesn't look like it's supposed to be this way because I didn't plan it this way, is actually in divine order. That there's a bigger picture, that there is nothing but the will of God taking place in our life. Ernest Holmes in the Science of Mind book, I picked it up a while ago, but I just couldn't get to it. He says the tendency of modern thought is to return by the route of inductive science to the great spiritual deductions of the ages, that all, capital A, that all is one. But men are still puzzled, trying to reconcile the world of multiplicity, the objects of the world of many things, to their beliefs. And in the final necessity is unity. Every great spiritual teacher has known that God is one, not two. And for those of us then that are a little more advanced, sunshine, I know there's only one power, one presence. I tend to go a little bit further. If that is so, are we living in this place of superstition, this place of fear that, I had a negative thought. Oh no, I'm in trouble now. I had a negative thought. Cancel, 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 cancel. Oh no, what's the opposite of that? Oh, what did that practitioner teach me? I had a negative thought. Oh, something bad's gonna happen to me. Nobody can identify with that. Too bad. There's one power, one presence. That life is God. That negative thought is just a negative thought that we can just simply let go and know and stand in our truth. That there's one power, one presence, one life, and that life is living magnificently in, through, and as my very life. I don't have to worry about a negative thought. It's just a thought. Like my friend Michael Beckwith says, I don't know where that thought's been. I just let it go. Just let it go. I don't have to cancel it. I don't have to, no. I just need to remind myself that there's one power, one presence, one life. There's one. And that one is showing up as each and every one of us. One of the things that I love to say is that, in creation, God did not create flower. There are flowers. There are plants, different kinds of plants, different kinds of trees. There's one that has created everything out of itself. One. So for me to believe or even to entertain that there's something outside of that one is for me to believe in two. And when I believe in two, then that's a whole nother center to go to. But when I believe in one, and really anchor myself in that idea and that thought that there's one power, one presence, one life, and really begin to live from this place, then I live from that place of knowing that this life is God's life. And that I get to experience the abundance and the peace and the joy and the clarity that there is. I get to remember and see God expressing beautifully and magnificently as all these flowers. But there's still the one that is expressing beautifully as each and every one of us. So this evening we get an opportunity in our time in the silence to begin to anchor that truth in. So if you would just clear your laps right now and just prepare your heart. Prepare your heart to know and to simply envision this one power, this one presence, this one life that has created everything out of itself. Through some act of involution, this divine energy, source, substance, the creative intelligence, that it has created everything out of itself. Therefore, everything seen and unseen is God. There is no otherness. Nothing outside of this one life that we know as love, joy, beauty, creativity, divine order, perfection, power, wholeness. There is only the one. And it is living as us in this form. So as we simply take in that which we have felt, the little ahas, maybe something in the reading or the beautiful music, as we begin to take that into our meditation, we're simply knowing that there is only one. There's only one. There's only the one. good it is to recognize the one power, the one presence, the one life. And to know that it is indeed my life. How good it is to simply be in that space where all is well, where there is no otherness, where there is only love, only joy, peace, abundance, beauty and creativity, wisdom, wholeness, power. That power that is God. That power that is my life. That power that is our collective life. For there is only the one. And the more and more we are in this truth, with this truth, the more our life demonstrates that this indeed is our belief, that this is indeed what is in our consciousness and in our awareness. So we give thanks. We give abundant thanks for this opportunity to know this truth for ourselves, to anchor it in, even for just a few minutes, to know it, to seek God, just for the sake of knowing God as our very life. So it's from a place of gratitude that we know that this is indeed good. And we allow this goodness to simply roll over into our activities for the rest of the evening. We let it be, for it is so, and so it is. Amen. Welcome back. As you prepare your heart space for giving of what you have brought to share with this spiritual community, simply begin to do so from this place of thanksgiving. I'd like to invite the ushers to come forward at this time. And as your heart space is indeed prepared for this opportunity to give, this opportunity to share with this spiritual community from your place of abundance, from the place where you know that all is well and all needs are met. The invitation is to simply take that which you have brought to share with this spiritual community and hold it to your heart, simply becoming grateful for something or someone in your life, for some experience that you've had that has brought you great joy. And I'm going to simply invite you to give from this place of gratitude, knowing that what it is that we share with this spiritual community today, we've already received so much more. And that this is just a representation. This just simply represents the goodness that flows through our lives, in and through our lives. That we don't get to hold on to it, but we get to simply pass it along. We get to re-gift it. We get to give to the places that we're spiritually fed so that these doors might be open for more to come to know their life as the life of God. So we give from that place of joy, from that place of thanksgiving, from that place where we know that we receive even more. So I simply bless that which fills the baskets, knowing that it is indeed God in action, and that we are blessed by the giving and the receiving. So ushers, please go forth and multiply this consciousness. And as you are giving, you are receiving. As you are giving, you are receiving, because we have the opportunity to receive the beautiful blessing of music from our beloved Sunny Daye and Aria. So welcome them back to the stage, please.
Guide me to crystal waters, quench my thirst from within, feed me life everlasting till I want no more. Bathe me in crystal waters, cleanse my soul from within, lead me to wisdom and power, set my spirit free. Right now, I feel the Spirit, the Holy Spirit over me. Right here, right now, I feel the Spirit, the Holy Spirit over me. Right now, I feel the angels, appointed angels over me. Right here, right now, I feel the angels, appointed angels over me. Right here, right now,
Sunny Daye, Aria on the piano and accompaniment. Thank you so much. Well, this is a time in our gathering where you have an opportunity to share in spiritual community a success that you had from this week, from last week to this week, an aha, an insight, something, a pearl, a little nugget that you must share. Some of you haven't shared yet in the weeks that we've been doing this. And I know that there is something calling from within you, some little nudge that is saying, okay, this is the week. This is the week to simply share a joy, a triumph, a success, a question, or maybe just that something that is for us to hear so that we might support one another in spiritual community. So I see a hand. Good evening, beloved.
Hi.
Hi, tell us your name too.
My name is Wendy, and this feels like a nugget. Last week I was sitting in this room listening to your message, and I felt a shift, and it felt like the entire room was feeling it in each in our own ways. And for me, it felt like a deepening and a closer connection to God. And so I left just feeling wonderful. And I have a friend who lives in Michigan, and we talk on the phone from time to time, and we always ask each other, what was the best part of your day? So as I go through my day, I'm thinking, oh, this is the best part. No, wait, this is the best part. And certainly the message was the best part that night. And I woke up the next morning, and I was living my day more connected to God and seeing my day through God's eyes than I ever have. And so at the end of the day, when I talked to my friend, and he said, what was the best part of your day? I said, today's different. It's a context. It isn't one event. My best part of my day was the context of living through God's eyes. And I really could connect with you tonight, just being able to see out in the world as if God is seeing the world. And it's a beautiful place, so thank you.
Absolutely, Wendy. Thank you so much. Yeah, each week we have an opportunity to go deeper and deeper. And the great thing about doing it in community is that A, we're not alone, and B, we get to hear sometimes about the successes, but then also the challenges. I mean, even for me, week to week, it's kind of like, okay, like sometimes it's not that easy. But how do we continue to do the work that we do so that we might get the little ahas, the nuggets, and to really live from that place of, yes, I know there's one power, one presence, and that is, it's living me right now. Hi.
The shift that has happened for me is, first of all, God is real. I just love the simplicity that you share with us. It's God is here and now and so real and simple and is. And I'm feeling that with you so much. And I'm liking it. It takes me right into my heart. The realness, the simplicity. The simplicity. Okay, so I'm feeling like I'm not having to do so much.
Yeah.
I don't have to do so much. To be with Spirit, to be with God. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Chills.
Yeah.
I don't have to do so much. And I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. And tell everybody your name again.
Ronnie.
Yeah. Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you.
Yeah, sometimes it's not about the doing as much as even like we're in the car or we're in the shower, and it's simply about the being and recognizing that God is right there. God is right there. Right there. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes. Good evening, everybody. This is just such a joy, and I really have to say, honor yourself for being here, because relating to what Reverend Sunshine was talking about, taking the time, honestly, that's what it is. If you truly take it, doesn't matter how long, whether it's 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 30 minutes like I do, but that's a process. It doesn't have to be that way. It truly starts to shift because it's in the silence, in the stillness where you are really connected to the true divine self of your beingness. And honestly, I can assure you that you will totally, completely wake up with new eyes and see that you're part of all that is in every moment, in every second, in every minute. And I truly say it from my heart because as I'm talking, I have all this energy flowing. So thank you so much. And just take little by little, but do it and consistent. And you will realize, take 20 days, challenge yourself to just do it. And you come tell me. It is truly a joy to be with God every moment.
Come
Thank
tell
you.
all of us, yeah, really. Thank you. I feel somebody on this side wanting to raise their hand, see? Yes, it's one of these, it's like, that would be me, beloved. Hi.
Hi, I'm Rosalind, and it has not been an easy day. It has not been an easy week. And I'm so appreciating, Mary Morrissey, my coach, had taught me, you know, Mahatma Gandhi, when he got really, really busy, he said, oh, I'm going to have to meditate more because it's getting so insane. And it's really true. And I've gotten into the habit of, oh, I'm going to need to meditate more. And I think we were up at 4 this morning, were we? We were up at 4. And it works. That's the only thing getting through right now.
Yeah.
Is that
Absolutely.
light through the storm.
Thank you for sharing that, Roz. You make such a great point that the busier we get, that it's a sign of really, if we get so busy, we get to balance it out with our meditation, with our quiet time, with our contemplation, with our simple knowing our life as the life that God is. That we get to pause in that, least we forget. Because there's so much that is jockeying, that is positioning itself for our attention. Michael Beckwith calls it the weapons of mass distraction. And the busier we get, that's the mass distraction. Oh, I'm too busy to pray. Oh, I'm too busy to meditate. Oh, I'm too busy to recognize my life is the life of God. And we get busy and we get caught up in that hamster wheel to nowhere. Whereas the busier we get, the more we can recognize, thank you, Roz, that it means that, I get to meditate. I get to be in spirit. I get to know and recognize my life as the life of God. We have time for one more, a burning desire. Okay, a flaming desire. A lukewarm desire. There it is. Hello, beloved. Thank you. Tell us your name, please.
My name's Howard. And earlier this evening, during a little celebration, I was telling a friend that generally I tell one person a year that it's my birthday, which happens to be tonight. And here I am now telling it to 93 people.
And all the people watching us live streaming.
Oh, yes, and live stream too. Yeah. But I'm saying this now because it's still all the one person.
Yes.
And while I'm here celebrating my 70th birthday, I'm also going through chemotherapy as we're speaking. So it's and a better place to be. I'm with family.
Yes.
I'm with family of origin. I'm with family of choice. You honor me.
Oh, I honor you, Howard. Thank you. Thank you, and how honored we are that on this day of your birth, that you are celebrating it in such a way that you've chosen to be here with us. And so we are honored as we honor you on this night. And what he's talking about in terms of being with family and being with family of choice, you know, we are each other's support. We are God mirroring God for one another. I am God speaking to God. And when you have the mic, it's God speaking to God as each and every one of us. And I love that because there's so much that we get to remember when we hear others talk about their experience. And we can either identify with it, or we can honor it, we can celebrate it, or we can go, ooh, I don't want to be there. Because then we get to really remember. We get to remember. So every experience is an experience to honor. Everything that we share with one another in this spiritual community, we get to honor that. We get to recognize it as God living its life as Howard, as Ron, as Wendy, as each and every one of us. We get to be with that. We get to go, look how God is showing up today in our family of origin and our family of choice. And to be here on a day to celebrate a birthday, or to be here while going through some therapy, wow. I'm blessed by your presence. Thank you for being here this evening. Wow. Are we feeling pretty complete tonight? Yeah. What we get to recognize in all of this is all the beautiful ways that this one life shows up. And this week, as you take with you something from the book, something from my sharing, something from the meditation, or from the reading, or from the music, or from the sharing of our community, of our family community here, as you take things from that into your day, into your week, remember that there's not two, but there's one. One life, one power, one presence. And that it's showing up as each of us. So to the degree in which we accept this truth for ourselves, we too then experience the abundance, the joy, the peace, the love, the wholeness that God is. So the invitation is to rise as we call Sunny Daye back to the stage. I want to make sure that everybody is thanked. I want to thank Tim and his video crew tonight. Want to thank the practitioners who've been holding the light for us. Again, they're going to be available for prayer. So they're going to be in that side chapel. So if you're going to exit out that side chapel, do so quietly. But really the invitation is for you to meet me outside in the family room so that we can chat and maybe have some tea and just continue the conversation and continue being together with family. I want to thank Ginny for all that she does to make it beautiful. And, of course, Aria tonight, our pianist and accompaniment. And my beloved Sunny Daye, thank you so much for your wonderful music. And please rise. This song is in your programs, but it's probably better that you don't even use your programs and just feel it.
Them. Yes. Just feel it. In love we stand. Here we go. This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see, with open hearts and open hands. We lift our voices, in love we stand. This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see, with open hearts and open hands. We lift our voices, in love we stand. This is our prayer, a song of peace. change. We want to see with open hearts and open hands. We lift our voices, in love we stand. We lift our voices, in love we stand. We lift our voices, in love we stand. Yes.
Go forth and multiply this consciousness. Meet me in the family room.